I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the World Center of Racing. We are here under the lights at Daytona. Second time we've been here on the schedule, and it gets ready to play a huge part into the season's playoffs. It's playoff race number 8, the middle race of the round of 8. It will set the stage for next week, the final elimination race at Rockingham to determine who the final 4 will be to compete for the championship at Michigan. So far, of our 8 remaining playoff contenders, none of them are locked into the final 4. Last week, we saw a non-playoff contender in RJ Bishop go to victory lane at Boston, and we've only got one of our playoff contenders starting up in the front of the top 10, that being Casey Hoyt. Second straight week, actually, that he has been the highest qualifying playoff driver, and second straight week he has started on the front row. He was on the pole last week for Boston, outside of the front row here tonight at Daytona. But unlike Boston, here at Daytona, Talladega, Coca-Cola Superspeedway, M&M Superspeedway, the different Superspeedway tracks that we've been to, this is not a track that is all about starting track position. We're going to see a lot of drivers, a lot of big names, a lot of playoff contenders that are starting towards the rear of the field, and they will be able to make their way up to the front as long as they've got the fast car, pick the right racing line that's moving, and obviously have some good drafting help. Let's take a look at those playoff points coming into tonight's race. We expect this to be a wild card race, and the way the points look, it could certainly shake things up. Boston, at the conclusion, saw Casey Hoyt move up to the top of the playoff standings. He has currently a 26-point cushion over, a 17-point cushion, I should say, over the cut line driver, that being Reese Banks, with there being no playoff winner last week. We're looking at that cut line 4th in the standings. Matthew Rodriguez, Dylan Poteet, both of them sit tied for 2nd. They're only 4 points ahead of the cut line, which is Reese Banks currently holding that final spot. Reese is starting shotgun on the field here tonight, and is the defending winner of this race weekend. Not necessarily this race track. We were at Talladega last time that we were at race number 34, and Banks picked up his first career win. So the weekend he's the defending winner of, not necessarily the racetrack. Jesse Turner, his teammate, is going to be 9 points back in 5th. Ryan Butcher currently a total of 12 points back in 6th. Jessica Shelton is 14 back in 7th, and Zach Rogers is 17 back in 8th. But with 42 cars in the field, a track like Daytona, any one of those 4, Turner, Butcher, Shelton, Rogers, could easily work their way above the cut line. And of course, for any of our 8 playoff contenders, if they win here tonight, they go in to Michigan knowing they're battling for the championship. They go into Rockingham worry-free. It's a win-and-you're-in system. The odds aren't necessarily in favor of one of our 8 playoff drivers going to victory lane here tonight. It is a 34-8 driver ratio, but you never know. It's Daytona. Anything can happen. I mean, case in point, the last time we were here at Daytona was at the very beginning of the season. Matthew Rodriguez qualified his way in on time as a non-charter driver, was planning to run part-time. He won the Great American Race. He ran full-time. Granted, he missed out on 6 races but he won 2 other races during the course of the regular season. He has made his way into the playoffs, into the Elite 8, and has done so in 3 different manufacturers. So anything can happen here tonight under the lights at Daytona. Carson Gum claims his first pole of the season. He was super fast in qualifying, set the fastest lap time of the entire night last night. He's going to have Casey Hoyt alongside of him. And then you've got Anthony McCrory and Kyler Sustre. Anthony looking for his first win of his career. Kyler Sustre looking for his second and making the field here as one of the 2 non-charter transferees. The other one being Reggie Fogelman, which, oh, by the way, he just happens to be driving the car for the team that Matthew Rodriguez was driving for when he won the 500 at the beginning of the season. So a lot of storylines here tonight, and can't wait to see how it all culminates. Let's go down trackside. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports and get ready to go racing here tonight at Daytona.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Nice smooth. Be there at the end. It's a long race. We just got to stay in contention. No mistakes. That's the big key. No mistakes today. We get up there. We get in the top 10. We ride. We ride. We ride. That's what we got to do today.
The official starting lineup on the bottom right of your screen. 72 laps of racing here tonight at Daytona. Hit strategy will more than likely come into play. Of course, the dreaded big one around every corner. Going to have to watch out for that. I mentioned about the fact for a lot of those drivers below the cut line, a lot of points on the table to be gained, but subsequently a lot of points can be lost as well. Drivers that struggled last week at Boston, if they suffer a bad performance here tonight, they could find themselves going into Rockingham in a must-win situation in regards to our 8 playoff drivers. And we've got an issue already. The 78 of Ryan Butcher has blown up, and also problems, it looks like, for our winner last week, RJ Bishop. He's down on the apron. Ryan Butcher, who was going to roll off from around mid-pack. That is not a good sign, as right off the grid, off of turn 2, the Popeyes Toyota. Big plume of smoke erupting from underneath the hood of that machine, and, well, I said that drivers that suffered a poor run last week and tonight would be heading into Rockingham in a must-win situation. Ryan Butcher will be one of those drivers. Also, uncertain what the issue is for the Advent Health Ford GT500 Mustang of RJ Bishop. He's coming to pit road. Going to be an unscheduled stop for him off the heels of his first win on the season last week at Boston. We'll have to follow up on that, but Carson Gum leads them down, and the green flag is in the air already. Drama in the early stages of tonight's playoff race. More than likely, that's going to be the end of the night early for Ryan Butcher. Bishop will probably be able to return to the track. Question is how long it will take for them to diagnose whatever the problem is. And he'll be all by himself, which means he will probably end up falling a lap down unless he's able to catch a quick yellow. Teammates side by side for the lead. The Chevrolet of Carson Gum, the Mazda of Anthony McCrory. Both of them now going to get bypassed by the Ford of Mitchell Collins off of turn 4. As Collins looks to lead the first lap of the night, but the regular season champion Rob Evans challenges to the inside. It will be Collins who will lead lap number 1. Levi McIntyre, 2-time winner on the season, now going to make his way to the inside and work his way on by Evans. Caleb Vogler, former champion, now on the inside as well. You can see a lot of passing for position here tonight, especially for the race lead, as drivers will work their way to the front and then fall to the back and then work their way back up to the front in waves. Matthew Rodriguez, now the highest running playoff driver, in the middle. Pushing up a little bit there into Mitchell Collins. 3 wide for the 4th position is Cole Deaver on the bottom of the racetrack. Levi McIntyre with the lap lead. Rob Evans now looks to his inside. Looks like inside line gets the momentum through the entrance to the center of the corner, and then as you get off of the corner and onto the straightaways, that outside line starts to come into play. A couple of Fords, 3 Fords actually lined up there on the top side there with McIntyre, Fogler, and Collins. That will keep Levi McIntyre out in front for the time being. Evans in the middle, and Deaver trying the bottom. A little bit of a gap back to Michael Norman, so not a very tight draft down against that double yellow line, at least for the time being, as McIntyre will continue to lead. Let's see if we can follow up on the RJ Bishop situation. He has returned to the track. He is currently 1 lap down, and he would fall a 2nd lap down if they reel him in under green flag conditions, which I believe they are about half a racetrack behind him. He was exiting out of 4 as they were exiting out of 2. If you're just joining us, Ryan Butcher, one of our 8 playoff contenders, out of the race. Engine expired, rolling off the grid on the back straightaway under the pacing lap. And so Ryan Butcher, who came into this one 8 points below the cut line. No, it wasn't even 8 points. It was 12 points below the cut line. I can't math. He is going to head into next week at Rockingham in a must-win situation if he's going to put an Auto Junction Racing back in the Final Four. Remember, last year we had 2 Auto Junction Racing cars in the Final Four with Ryan Butcher and Laura Chung. Seems like Auto Junction Racing has always been synonymous with being up high in the playoff standings. Remember back in Season 5, 78 car with Alexander Rowe, Diego Yepes, and Ryan Butcher ended up winning the regular season championship. I believe the 77 team and the 78 team were in the Final Four that year as well. The 77 team that year having Laura Chung, Roberto Crown. Was Laura Chung part of that team at that point? Actually, I don't think she was. I think she stepped in Season 6. I know Roberto Crown Jr. was one of the drivers of the 77. I'm trying to remember who the other 2 were. Saw Matthew Rodriguez try and make a move there. Now he gets put in the sucker hole. Evans and Deaver going by on the bottom. Fogler and Collins going by on the top. And how about Reese Banks? I said here at Daytona, track position isn't necessarily that important. Reese Banks rolled off of the grid dead last. He's going to cross the line this time by in the 12th position. So he has picked up a ton of spots here in the early going as we're 3 wide for second. That's Benjamin Miles leading the inside charge. He's got the Chevrolet of Cody Lamas right behind him. And then it's the Haas Racing teammates, Matt Haas and Reggie Fogelman. Matt Haas, a former Daytona 500 winner. The 80 that Reggie Fogelman's driving, a former Daytona 500 winning car with Matthew Rodriguez at the beginning of this year. And Miles and that inside line, they have found the surge they needed. Miles is going to lead this lap. 3 wide for the lead with Evans in the middle. Levi McIntyre up on the top side there. Evans and McIntyre not giving a whole lot of room to each other going into turn 1. And that side drafting, I think, is helping the inside line to have the better momentum through the corner and on the straightaways. Got some stragglers at the tail end of the pack there, I noticed. Dylan Young, Nick Gunther. Looked like that was Charles Sanford, Destin Bolin, and Zachary Fitzwater. Not sure if they're just riding right now. I think they're still in the draft, still in the pack. As you can hear, an idling engine up ahead. I believe that is RJ Bishop in the 98 that they're catching, and that's going to slow one of these lines up when they encounter him. He'll be able to merge with the pack and be up to speed, but at the same time, it is going to slow these drivers down because Cody Lamas, your race leader, is carrying about 200 miles per hour through 1 and 2. RJ Bishop is just now topping at 186. Cody, I believe, led that lap last time by. No, actually he did not. They're saying Benjamin Miles did, but now clear for the lead and jumping up to the outside line, which seems to be kind of the preferred lane here for these drivers. Longer way around the racetrack, but you don't have to lift quite as much. Cody now swaps down to the bottom along with McIntyre as they encounter the 98. who's going to hold up that third lane until they're able to get the momentum back. I'm a little worried now about Charles Samper and Zachary Fitzwater, and whether or not they may end up losing out on the draft or not. Levi McIntyre to the inside of Cody, who did lead that lap, so a bonus point for him. Cody here at one of his home tracks, this in Homestead, Miami. Quentin Moore going to jump down to the bottom of the racetrack now, 3 wide for the race lead. And there's Matt McIntyre. I said it and I stand by it. Last night's qualifying, I said Matt McIntyre, the run he's been on as of late, when we saw him lead a ton of laps at Hanford, had that runner-up finish at Arizona, had a great run last week at Boston. I feel that Matt McIntyre, even though we've only got 3 races left here in this season, Daytona, Rockingham, and Michigan, I feel like Matt McIntyre is going to win one of these 3. If he doesn't win this season, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in Season 8 because they have found something here, and he's returning back to the same car, same team in Season 8 out of Michael Norman Motorsports. How about playoff contender Jessica Shelton making her way up here to the front? Shelton looking for her 3rd win on the season. Remember I mentioned about Reese Banks being the defending winner of this weekend? Well, Jessica Shelton is a former winner of this weekend as well. At one point, race 34 in the playoffs ran at Armory Digital Super Speedway, and Jessica Shelton picked up a victory there. Right now, she is in the 2nd spot behind Matt McIntyre. Connor Breton, 3-time winner on the season, looking to the inside in what is a 3 wide for 2nd place. Kyler Sustre right behind him. There's Laura Chung as well. Nick Gunther in the 55. Pretty sure it was about only 6 or 7 laps ago I saw him as the tail car in this lead pack. And he's now making his way up into the top 15. Nathan Ormond right behind him, the Disney Plus Ford Mustang, of course, running the Disney colors. We saw him do the same in the 500 here in Florida, home to the most magical place on earth, Walt Disney World. Matt McIntyre right now channeling the inner Dale Jr., controlling all the lines, all the momentum, and keeping them stacked up 3 wide behind him. It's now Shelton on the top, Breton in the middle, Kyler Sustre on the bottom. Got the purple car connection down there with Sustre, Chung, and Gunther, all featuring purple, a little bit of white. Looks like some more drivers have lost the pack here. Fitzwater and Sanford have definitely lost the pack. Daniel Boyles, I believe, has now lost the lead group. And Anthony McCrory, who had a good starting position here tonight, now looks like he may be losing the draft. The moral of the story is you don't want to be shuffled to the rear of the field. You want to stay up here at the front. Carson Gum, our pole sitter, is back there. Michael Norman, another Florida native, considers this a home track of his. Back towards the rear of the field, Matthew Rodriguez, playoff contender back there also. Getting close to when these drivers are going to have to start thinking about making green flag pit stops here. 14 laps on the charts, 13 in the books. Going to be roughly around lap 20 through 25 that we're going to probably see these drivers have to make the dive onto pit road. Coming into tonight, these drivers were preparing for at least a 2-stop, maybe a 3-stop race. And we've managed to, so far, keep it green. So that means that we'll start turning our attention towards the pit lane. Still 3 wide for 2nd place. Matt McIntyre loving this, as this has allowed him so far to lead the most laps, 3 in total. Next closest to him, Benjamin Miles, who's led 2, and then everybody else that's been out in front has only led 1 lap. Kyler Sustre now clear for 2nd. Jessica Shelton helping propel him there. Now she's side by side with Connor Breton for 3rd. Then 3 wide for the 5th position with Chung, Ormond, and Gunther. Now things kind of settling out to double wide amongst about the top 7 or 8. I wonder if that's drivers getting themselves organized up in preparation for green flag pit stops here. You tend to see that as we get about 5 laps away or so from when drivers have to get themselves prepared to come to pit lane. They want to get down to that inside line, down to the double yellow line, have that easier access route into pit road. We will, however, probably see drivers try pitting from the second and maybe even third lanes, depending on situations. And I think we got some coming in now. Kyle Matthews, Jesse Turner, Will Goss, Ryan Brommer, Carson Gum, and Anthony McCrory all coming in this lap. This pit stop, I think, was huge for Anthony McCrory because you see he was able to pull right up to the back bumper of his teammate Carson Gum and more than likely will not now lose the pack. Daniel Voiles is coming in this time. There's Charles Sanford, the defending champion, former winner Zachary Fitzwater. They've lost the lead pack as we documented. Look how drivers pitting kind of split the field up there too. A bit of a gap from this group trailed by Levi McIntyre back to Cole Deaver in the 3. It's now going to come down to how big of a pack you come to pit road with. Going to be a big group this time by Matt McIntyre, the leader, is in. Connor Breton. Oh, no! Cole Deaver just ran into the back of Quentin Moore. And Reggie Fogelman also got some damage out of that. So did Matt Haas and Caleb Fogler. They stacked up. Drivers that were in that split, as I mentioned, at the front of that second group, they came in a lot hotter than drivers that were checking up at the tail end of the lead pack. I don't think any playoff contenders were involved in that, but that is going to be an extended stay, more than likely, for drivers that would have sustained damage from that incident. Kyler Sustre led that lap. He'll be on pit road more than likely this time. And here comes some others down here with him. Rob Evans, Nick Gunther, Chris Dollerton, RJ Bishop, and Keith Batson. A couple of others there just behind in Benjamin Miles, Michael Norman, and playoff contender Matthew Rodriguez. I think we had a couple of other drivers stay out. There you see Reggie Fogelman. They took the hood off of that car. He will obviously not be aerodynamically sound. Back bumper gone on his machine as well. As everybody getting themselves cycled around. I believe Laura Chung stayed out an extra lap, as did Jose Mills. And it looks like after that stack up at the edges of pit road, Caleb Fogler has been pushed back behind the wall. And so too has Matt Haas. Tough break for both of those drivers. Pit road just as treacherous as the racetrack itself. As Laura Chung, Jose Mills head for pit road, and now we have to wait and see who this will cycle the lead around to. Looks like it could be this group with Shelton, McIntyre, Lamas, and Breton. Kyler Sustre, Chris Dollerton, Nick Gunther going to merge up and try and latch on to the tail end of this quartet. And we'll update the fallout of pit road here once everything cycles around. So the field very split up here. Now going to be in their own little intermittent groups. They'll all look to try and merge back together into one big pack. There's Chung and Mills leaving pit road. So the lead change is now official. And it looks like Matt McIntyre may end up cycling back out to the front. He's got that preferred lane up on the top side, though it is 2 against 2. Cody Lamas, Jessica Shelton on the bottom. Matt McIntyre, Connor Breton on the top. Their side-by-side battling is more than likely going to bring Kyler Sustre back into this pack. Same for Chris Dollerton. Austin LaPlante, who is now up to 6th, has a group that's about to reel him in that maybe they'll be able to catch up to the top 5 or 6. Kyle Matthews in this pack, along with Keith Batson, Nick Gunther, the lap car of RJ Bishop, and Benjamin Miles. That's back to 11th place. Laura Chung right now in 12th, going to get caught by this group. That's got pole sitter Carson Gum in it. Ryan Brommer, Will Goss, some playoff drivers, some teammates right there. Reese Banks and Jesse Turner, James Qualls, Nathan Ormond, Rob Evans in this pack. Jose Mills and Joshua Osborne trying to latch on. Casey Hoyt right now in the 23rd position. Michael Norman in 24th. 25th, Dylan Young. You got Anthony McCreary, 26th. Right now, 27th and 28th are playoff contenders. Matthew Rodriguez and Zach Rogers. And I believe the furthest back run of the playoff drivers is right there, 31st for the 31 of Dylan Poteet, who came into this race 4 points above the cut line. Right now he's back in this little string of drivers with Cole Deaver, Mitchell Collins, and Destin Bolin still on the lead lap, but right now, as mentioned, at the lowest running of the playoff contenders. Right now, Jessica Shelton is the only playoff driver up in the lead group right now. They're about to catch Zachary Fitzwater, who's on the tail end of the lead lap, and will more than likely fall a lap down right here with McIntyre completing the pass. So right now, of the two drivers of the four that came into this race above the cut line, it looks like Reese Banks and Casey Hoyt are in somewhat decent position. Reese Banks last time by was scored in 18th, Casey Hoyt in 23rd. I know that doesn't sound all that great, but considering the fact that the only other playoff drivers that are ahead of them on the running order are Jessica Shelton and Jesse Turner, who both came into this race below the cut line, this is a decent run for them right now. Keith Batson on the inside there of Connor Breton. I felt like Keith Batson was a driver we had to keep our eyes on here tonight. Main reason being, he has suffered 2 second-place finishes in Superspeedway races this season. Coca-Cola Superspeedway and M&M Superspeedway. He's looking for a little bit of redemption here in our final Superspeedway of the season here at Daytona. And looking for the lead against Connor Breton. Got Austin LaPlante there as his drafting partner. Remember, I think I mentioned this was it either last week or during qualifying last night. 3 playoff contenders have not gone to victory lane, or 3 former playoff contenders, I should say, that started off the playoffs up to this point. And they are Reese Banks, Keith Batson, and Austin LaPlante. Well, look who you got for your top 2 right now, the 39 and the 48, both looking for their first checkered flag of the season. They caught the 80 of Reggie Fogelman in a bad spot, and a number of drivers are going to get broken up from the lead pack, including Jessica Shelton. Shelton going to try and catch back up here, and that might have been exactly what this second pack needed, get that first pack broken up. Now they've all got to organize to get around the 80 and not lose momentum. Will Goss leading that charge, the 2-time winner. Got to go to the bottom here on Fogelman. They're going to split him 3 wide. No, they're not. Laura Chung runs right up on him, and everybody going to have to kind of slow up to let each other in line to be able to make their way around. So it doesn't look like that second pack is going to reel in the first pack anytime soon. They may pick up a couple of the stragglers from the first pack, like Shelton, Fitzwater, Kyler Sustre maybe, add to their numbers, and that might help them to be able to reel in this lead group. Charles Sanford has just gotten put a lap down. So not the run he was obviously looking for here tonight. Plant and Batson have been reeled back in by this group after they had made their way around Reggie Fogelman. Oh, we got a wreck! At the very front in this lead pack! The big one is struck, and we've got other packs coming in. Shelton is in it! And we got other groups coming in here. Look out! They're all flying in. I think they're all going to get through, and this caution is going to save a lot of drivers, but right at the very front of the field, LaPlante got hooked in the right rear by Keith Batson. Slow up, guys. Ooh. They almost all just ran into each other right there in 1 and 2, as I think everybody's trying to whoa up for the pace car. I think they took the yellow. Yeah, they did. Cody Lamas led them back. But right at the very front of the field, our first caution of the day for the race lead, and at least one playoff contender was involved in that. The 94 of Jessica Shelton. Zachary Fitzwater, looks like everybody's slowed up here because Fitzwater's not able to maintain pace speed, even though he crossed the line ahead of all these drivers. Hopefully they're going to be able to go around. Oh, and Shelton is smoking as well. That's the second playoff driver that's had an issue here tonight. Ryan Butcher never got off the grid, never took the green flag, And now Jessica Shelton looks like the second playoff contenders had problems. Oh, Matt McIntyre. The momentum he's been on as of late. I believe up to this point he had led the most laps. And looks like his day is more than likely done. Everybody's got to get themselves figured out of what's going on here. I think we're waiting on the 66, who is only right now able to top out at 40 miles per hour. All these drivers are going to more than likely still stay up inside of the top 10 with their pit stops. There is damage on the 4 of Kyler Sustre on the right side. Wonder about the damage on the 48 of Austin LaPlante. There's right side damage on the 39 of Keith Batson after those two got together in the battle for the race lead off of turn 4. We'll sort it all out here of who's running where. Looks like Cody's going to win the battle off of pit road, so he'll more than likely be our race leader. Let's go back, take a look at a replay of what went down. They're already saying Charles Sanford in the 03, who was involved in the wreck, has come down pit road and headed to the garage area, so a bad night turns worse for the defending champion. And this wreck, it kind of took me by surprise. I mean, we'd seen this 3 wide off of turn 4 all night long. Everything had seemed to be fine. Let's see what exactly happens here with the 48 and the 39. I mean, they kind of fanned out a bit here. I wonder if it's the move that we're going to see here by Benjamin Miles that kind of spooks his teammate LaPlante. They're almost looking 4 wide, and then LaPlante's moving up, and just runs Keith Batson out of room. Big hit there for Charles Sanford. Daugherty slid down to the inside. There's Matt McIntyre, and right there, Shelton trying to get through, runs straight into the nose of her teammate Sanford. And then I thought here, with all these drivers in the second pack coming through, that we were going to have some potential plows. And fortunately, we did not. That could have been really, really bad. Looks like Dollarton, I think he did spin. I don't know if he hit anything. Let's watch this as he gets projected down to the inside wall right there. And, oh, yep, he did get the wall pretty good there with the right rear and then subsequently the left front. Actually, that was the left rear he hit with. Connor Breton was in the grass there. Watch the hit Charles Sanford takes here, as I think he gets right reared up into the wall. Right there by his teammate Matthews. And then takes a shot right there from Matt McIntyre, and then another shot right there from Jessica Shelton. RJ Bishop nowhere to go, and look how Shelton got split right there, and then the cars that went to the inside of Shelton just barely got to the right side of RJ Bishop. It's taken on board with Cody Lamas, who I think for the most part was able to get through and subsequently has inherited the race lead. Right place, right time. The seas parted for the Florida Panthers Chevrolet. And he is going to be the race leader as we get ready to go back green flag racing. The lights should go out in the pace car this next time by, and we're trying to compile here the drivers that are out of the race after that wreck off of turn 4, our first caution of the night. That caution was a huge break for a lot of drivers. Dylan Pote, Matthew Rodriguez, Daniel Boyles, Cole Deaver, Mitchell Collins, Destin Bolin, who are all at the tail end of the lead lap. They'll be up here in the lead group now. As of right now, the drivers that we currently have listed out of the race from this incident alone include Nick Gunther, Jessica Shelton, Matt McIntyre, Zachary Fitzwater, Charles Sanford, and RJ Bishop. Those drivers will finish in 34th through 39th. 3 other drivers back in the garage area. If you're just joining us, we had a stack up coming to pit lane on the first green flag pit stop cycle, and that took out Matt Haas and Caleb Fogler. And then before the green flag even flew, Ryan Butcher had an engine failure on the back straightaway when the field came off of pit road, off the grid at the beginning of this one, and he immediately came to pit lane and finishes in 42nd. So 2 playoff drivers will be heading into next week, potentially in a must-win situation to advance into the Final Four, that being Ryan Butcher and Jessica Shelton, both behind the wall. Both came into this race below the cut line. Minus 12 for Ryan Butcher. For Jessica Shelton, it was minus 14. And they will more than likely not be able mathematically to make up those points next week. They will have to rely on a checkered flag. Reggie Fogelman will line up on the inside line. He is the only car 1 lap down. 33 cars still running, 32 of them on the lead lap. Cody Lamas, the race leader. Laura Chung, second. Will Goss in third. Jose Mills is fourth, and pole sitter Carson Gum will complete the top 5. Austin LaPlante doesn't look like they spent a whole lot of time repairing that car because he came off of pit lane in 6th. 7th for Ryan Brommer. Keith Batts in 8th. Kyler Sustre 9th, and Benjamin Miles completes the top 10. None of our 8 playoff contenders up here inside of the top 10. We know 2 of them are in the garage area. The other 6 are running as follows. Highest of them is Casey Hoyt in 14th. Reese Banks 16th. Zach Rogers in 20th. Jesse Turner 21st. Dylan Pote 26th. And Matthew Rodriguez in 27th for this restart. Not even quite halfway home here tonight at Daytona. Cody Lamas gets ready to put us back under the green. The timing of this yellow, though, puts us just about at the window where these drivers could make it the rest of the way on one more pit stop. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case. Everybody trying to make their way around the slower car on the bottom of Reggie Fogelman. Top 6 going to get clear for that. Laura Chung for the race lead on Cody Lamas. Has Jose Mills down there with her. Looks like the numbers, though, well, I thought they were going to go to the top, but now they're even. 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. Looks still like Cody's going to get that better run down the back straightaway on the outside line. And the field's getting a little bit split up because of them. Some having success and some struggling getting around that slower car of Reggie Fogelman. Chung leads that lap. Barely edges out Cody Lamas for the spot. As now more drivers start to make their way up here towards the tail end of this lead group. Drivers that had gotten broken off from the lead pack trying to get around the 80 car. Chung now clear of Cody Lamas, moves up to the top, and will lead that outside line. Jose Mills, who helped get Chung there, stays committed to the bottom, trying the side draft here off of turn 4. Reese Banks, now the highest running of the playoff drivers. Looks like he was the most efficient to get by the slower Reggie Fogelman machine. But we've got some playoff contenders starting to catch up to him as well. I see Casey Hoyt there on the bottom of the racetrack. Jesse Turner and Dylan Pote not too far back. There they are. Matthew Rodriguez here with Anthony McCrory. And there is Zach Rogers, who is right now the furthest back of the playoff drivers that are still on the track and running. Last time I scored in 29th and trying to catch up to the tail end of this group right here. Fortunes have certainly changed for a number of our playoff drivers. Dylan Pote, Matthew Rodriguez, Jesse Turner, they were all running in mid-pack, in little tiny groups, in danger more than likely if this thing had continued to run green of maybe getting reeled in and put a lap down. All of a sudden now, they've got new life and an opportunity on the flip side of the Shelton and Butcher must-win situation heading next week. For those drivers like Rodriguez and Pote, who came into this race above the cut line, Casey Hoyt as well, they've got an opportunity of heading into next week at Rockingham of just maybe finishing inside the top 15 or the top 20, not necessarily even having to have a super good points day, depending on how much of a cushion they're able to build between themselves and the fourth in the standings cut line. How about Dylan Young? Talk about a driver that this caution changed his fortune. Dylan Young with the runner-up finish to his teammate RJ Bishop last week in a Young Motorsports 1-2 at Boston. And Dylan Young, the Iron Gwazi We the Coasters Ford, now up inside of the top 10. His teammate Will Goss to his outside with Carson Gum in the middle. How about three-time winner James Qualls up there, high, wide, and handsome, looking for his series-leading fourth win on the year. And then to his inside of the three-wide formation he's in, Casey Hoyt, who has a victory at a super speedway this season, back at M&M Super Speedway. Looking also for his fourth win on the year as he's pushing Dylan Young to the race lead, 3 wide for the top spot, Mills in the middle, Chung on the top, Young on the bottom. This 3-wide battling has allowed a number of drivers to catch back up here to this lead group. Anthony Curry is caught back up. Destin Bolin trying to do the same. Matthew Rodriguez also. And Levi McIntyre. It looks like maybe the 6 of Zach Rogers has lost the draft. Here he is with Joshua Osborne. So now he's going to need a caution to catch his way back up. He is right now the furthest back of the playoff contenders, still on the racetrack. And doesn't look like he's going to be able to reel in this lead group anytime soon. He's going to need the aid of a yellow. Laura Chung continues to show the way. She has now led the most laps so far tonight. 8 in total, about to be 9 if she's able to hold off Jose Mills off of 4, which it looks like she will do. She's got Cody Lamas as her wingman currently. Matt McIntyre, who's in the garage area, has led the second most so far tonight at 6. Cody Lamas has led 4. 3 laps led for Connor Breton, 2 laps apiece for Keith Batson, Benjamin Miles, Kyler Sustre, and Jessica Shelton. Shelton also currently behind the wall. And then 1 lap led here tonight for Mitchell Collins, who appears to be the only driver that has been out in front for only 1 circuit. Everybody else that's been out in front has led at least 2 laps or more. Cody Lamas, tired of riding behind Laura Chung. Now he dives to the inside. He'll pick up Will Goss. And Cody Lamas will go back to the lead here at Daytona. We've documented about Cody Lamas. Branched off to his own team at Llama Racing last season. A lot of growing pains for that organization this season coming in. Number change from the 13 to the 84. There was a stretch, though, in the second half of the regular season where Cody was really doing well. Very consistent runs. Hit a bit of a cold streak as we neared the end of the regular season and the beginning of the playoffs. Comes into this race 30th in points with 4 top 5s and 8 top 10s, but maybe one of the best performances we've seen out of him so far here this season, and looking to break into victory lane for the first time in quite a while. Levi McIntyre and Matthew Rodriguez with the 3 wide in this pack have caught up into this lead group. And they'll now try to start making forward progress. Levi on the inside line there, trying to make his way up towards the front, looking for his 3rd win on the season. Sounds like we got a car up ahead to deal with, and I'm hoping it's not the 80 of Reggie Fogelman, as James Qualls with a big push to Laura Chung down the back straightaway gets those 2 clear into 1st and 2nd. Now it's not just Reggie Fogelman, it's going to be a couple of other drivers here too. Connor Breton and Chris Dalwerton, who both have some damage involved in that only caution we've had off of turn 4. Right now, they are in a battle side-by-side for the 31st position. You've got the lap machine of Reggie Fogelman right there behind them also. They're coming off of turn 2. The leaders, I believe, just entered into turn 1. As James Qualls makes a nice move there from top to middle on Laura Chung. No drafting help available for him, though. He's going to kind of get left out there as they're all organized on the top side. Chung, Goss, Mitchell Collins. How about Kyle Matthews? couple of the S3 Motorsports cars taken out of the race from that earlier wreck. Jessica Shelton and Charles Sanford. Kyle Matthews with a shot here of still putting an S3 Motorsports car in victory lane. His teammate Cole Deaver not that far back either. He's the 7th car up in that outside line, the bright orange Wheaties Chevy. Kyle Matthews, former playoff contender from last year, made his way into the playoffs with a victory at a super speedway last season at Coca-Cola Speedway. So he knows how to get it done at these type of racetracks. Will Goss, second in the rookie point standings, 16 points behind Casey Hoyt, two-time winner on the season. We talked about this in last night's qualifying. Some news out of Young Motorsports as they're going to catch that trio of race cars, 1 a lap down and 2 on the tail end of the lead lap here with Dollarton, Breeden, and Fogelman. Let's watch as they make their way through all of this. But we ended up getting word that Destin Bolin is indeed returning to Young Motorsports. However, he's going to be moving over to the number 11 team, rebranded to the 02. The 12 car is the question mark right now of who is going to drive that machine, as Will Goss has announced he will not be returning to Young Motorsports next year. So, unfortunate, but an incredible full-time rookie season for Will Goss here in Season 7. With 2 trips to victory lane, 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s, a playoff berth, and we've got pit stops coming up here. Anthony McCrory, Will Goss, Quentin Moore, and Daniel Voiles making the dive onto pit lane. Seemed a little early for them to be coming to pit road. I thought that we probably wouldn't see drivers coming to pit lane until around lap 50. So this now throws into question whether or not this is a one stop to the finish. They may have to come to pit road a second time in the closing stages here. And remember, it was the accordioning up of drivers after they had made pit stops that kind of led to our first and up to this point only caution of the night. Ooh, this is going to be really tight back there with a bunch of drivers peeling off onto pit lane there. Ryan Brommer, Carson Gum, Levi McIntyre leading that group. James Qualls and Laura Chung ahead of them. Playoff contender Dylan Poteet's in. Lap car of Chris Dollarton. Let's see if any of other playoff drivers are in this lap. Yep. Matthew Rodriguez and Reese Banks. And Casey Hoyt. Rob Evans stayed out an extra lap. So too did the blue ovals of Jose Mills, Michael Norman, and Destin Bolin. We got drivers up ahead here that are merging back onto the track after coming to pit road. McCrory, Goss, Moore, some of the first ones that made the dive. Looks like Evans is coming in this time. You see the flares out of the tailpipes there as he let off the throttle and slowing up for pit lane. Looks like Jesse Turner coming in this lap. The last playoff driver, I think, that needed to pit. Benjamin Miles and Dylan Young coming in with him. Now it's a question of who cycles out to the race lead. Potentially could be this car, James Qualls. But you see Anthony McCrory, Quentin Moore, and Will Goss back there who came to pit road the lap earlier than these drivers, and they are organized. So they're going to have some good momentum here when they catch Laura Chung and James Qualls. I think we're going to have at least one more pit stop before this race is over, because of the amount of laps they just ran here. I mean, unless the fuel window open for them to make the rest of the way, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to have to come to pit road at least one more time. And here comes Laura Chung with the big push there from Quentin Moore. Easily going to blow the doors off of the 70, as she'll go back to the race lead. Maybe, well, maybe not. Rob Evans, Jose Mills up here, trying to get themselves up to speed. Might end up being the 38 car, but the 77 is still going to have that momentum. Well, definitely looks like the call to come to pit road early worked out for most of the drivers that did that. McCrory, Goss, Moore, and Daniel Voiles all look like they're going to cycle into the top 10 here. Cole Deaver, Nathan Ormond, They stayed out an extra lap, and they are just now leaving pit lane. Orman led a lap as a result. We'll see what those two cycle around as they decide to go with the long strategy in terms of pitting. And Laura Chung, with that pass on Nathan Orman and Cole Deaver, is now officially into the race lead once again. Laura's led 13 laps so far here tonight. Could very well be in control of that bonus point for most laps led here this evening, as looks like we got about a pack of 7 up here after everything cycled around. All non-playoff drivers: Chung, Moore, Mills, Evans, McCrory, Qualls, and Goss. 4 of those drivers are looking for their first win on the season. The 77, the 38, the 89, and the 61 have not been to victory lane here in Season 7. And for Anthony, he's still looking for his first win of his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series career. Chung and Moore, both in their rookie seasons last year, found victory lane. Chung at Watkins Glen, Quentin Moore at Dover. Jose Mills, of course, the most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series. Rob Evans got his first career win earlier on in the playoffs at Nashville Superspeedway. So we got, looks like 7 cars in this lead group right now, back to Will Goss. Then you've got a second pack that is looking like they are closing in on the first pack. Daniel Voiles, Destin Bolin, side by side for the 8th position. Ryan Brommer's in this group. Levi McIntyre, Mitchell Collins, Dylan Young, and Michael Norman trying to stay latched on. He's in the 14th position. Third pack back here, much bigger group, with Carson Gum leading the charge there. Looks like most of our playoff drivers are in this pack here too. I see Rodriguez, Banks, Turner, and Poteet. I do not see the 74 of Casey Hoyt. And that is why he is all by himself in 28th. Now we already know Zach Rogers had lost the pack before the pit stops. And he actually just got put a lap down. Lord Chung completing the pass around him, so that's a tough break for Zach Rogers, who now finds himself -1 in the 30th position. Chris Dollerton, Connor Breeden both a lap down. Reggie Fogelman 2 laps down as things currently run. And with catching Zach Rogers and slowing down this lead group, that's allowing the second pack to catch up here and maybe make it about a 14-car pack, well, maybe 13 cars. I think Michael Norman may have lost touch with the group he was with, and he might start falling back here into this third pack. Take a look at some lap times here. Carson Gum leading this group, could have crossed the line at a 45.295. Let's compare that to the leaders up here. And the leader here ran a 45.695, so about 0.4 of a second faster was that second group. Granted, this lead pack is all kind of split up now after they caught Zach Rogers. They're all trying to get themselves organized, plus they're about to deal with Connor Breeden in the 88. So these slower cars that the front pack is encountering is going to help that second pack a lot in reeling them in, especially if they continue to kind of break up here in this front pack. They'll add more numbers to that second pack, generate more speed, and potentially get back into this conversation. But they got a lot of ground to make up. That group with Carson and company, they are about 9 seconds back the last time by. We'll see if they make up any ground this time. They were 9.4 seconds behind the race leader the last time around, and this time around, as we wait for scoring to update, they are still 9.4 seconds back. They've not made up any ground, at least not in that lap. Laura Chung runs right up on the back bumper of the former Daytona 500 champion Chris Dollerton, and now they're stacked up double wide with Rob Evans looking to the inside of Chung. This is going to slow these drivers up once again. Looks like Dollerton and Breeden are going to merge in with this group, so I guess they are still up to speed. They just needed drafting help. There's Carson Gum in that group at the start-finish line. Let's see if they gained any ground that time. Yes, they did. That time they gained 0.8 of a second. They need a lot more help than that, and they may get it because Reggie Fogelman's been encountered by the lead pack, and he's going to slow them up a lot. Field's going to get split up again. Anthony McCrory stuck up there on the outside line. McIntyre as well. Quentin Moore. All these drivers trying to find a lane down to the bottom past the 80. And if they spend too much time behind Reggie Fogelman, they may be in danger of losing the lead pack. Anthony's got to tuck in right behind Levi McIntyre there. No, he's not gonna. He's gonna have to wait to get behind Chris Dallerton now. I think the 61 could be in danger of losing the lead pack. We'll see. Meanwhile, up at the front, after they made their way around Reggie Fogelman, Rob Evans goes to the point. Regular season champion. Won his way into the round of 12, winning the first elimination race at Nashville Superspeedway during the round of 17. But unfortunately got eliminated from the playoffs at the conclusion of Arizona Speedway and not advancing into the round of 8. So now out there looking for his second win on the season. Evans Motorsports closing up at the conclusion of this year. Rob Evans and Zach Rogers not returning to the series in Season 8. Zachary Fitzwater making the jump over to Blue Oval Automotive, where he'll replace Chris Dallerton in the number 83. Laura Chung, I think, has got one of the strongest cars here tonight. She's proved it by leading 18 laps, a race high. And she tried to make that move by herself against Jose Mills, still trying to stay with him. That's kind of forcing him up the racetrack. Rob Evans sees that. He'll jump down and offer the drafting help now. They're about to catch the 27 of Joshua Osborne, former winner on the season from a few weeks ago. Osborne with that victory at Hillside during the playoffs, but now he's going to go a lap down after he had lost the draft after the cycle pit stops. And look who's next on the hit list. The 74 of Casey Hoyt, who came into this race 17 points above the cut line and now going to go -1 back in the 28th position. Casey Hoyt, who probably had the best start of the round of 8 of all the playoff contenders, qualified on the pole last week at Boston, brought it home with a solid outing, came into this race the points leader, started in the front row for this one as well. But it has gone horribly wrong here in the second half of this race for the rookie points leader. Another slow car up ahead to deal with, and that's another playoff driver in Dylan Poteet, who has lost the lead draft. Right now in the 27th position. So if Chung reels in Dylan Poteet, then that means that we will have 3 drivers a lap down, 2 drivers out of the race of our playoff contenders. That's going to make... Oh, but we got pit stops going on here? No, we don't. I thought Mitchell Collins was running awfully low there for 3 and 4. But that's going to make the points days of drivers like Jesse Turner and Reese Banks and Matthew Rodriguez maybe look really, really good. Where are those drivers at? Because they aren't in this lead pack. There's Turner, there's Banks. Side by side between those two for 16th. So 16th and 17th is where the teammates out of Lake Effect Autosport are running. Where is Rodriguez? Uh-oh, he's all by himself as well. In 26th, actually, he's just barely ahead of Dylan Poteet. And Poteet's going to go a lap down. Here comes Chung to the bottom. So Jesse Turner and Reese Banks, who came into this race, the cut line driver and the first driver below the cut line, depending on how these final few laps shake out for them, they could be heading into Rockingham in a pretty nice situation with a chance to advance into the Final Four. Dylan Poteet and Casey Hoyt are also going to be in a battle here. Potentially Matthew Rodriguez when he gets reeled in, because they're all going to be on the same lap, all -1, so they would be battling for position with each other. All 3 of those drivers came into this race first, second, third in points, separated by 13 points total. And so they want to get the edge on each other, because more than likely they'll be battling for who is going to be the cut line driver, I would think, heading into our elimination race next week at Rockingham, as Laura Chung chose the wrong line there as they encountered Matthew Rodriguez. Dylan Young on the bottom is going to fly past the rest of the field in the wake of the, well, tail end of the lead lap car now in Joshua Osborne. Mitchell Collins moved into second. Levi McIntyre now up into third place. Windows open. These drivers can make it the rest of the way on fuel, and they are going to have to come to pit road at least one more time. We know it looks like Voiles is coming in this lap. Also Will Goss. Remember, they came to pit road the early pack on the last cycle. So the cycle has begun here for the final pit stop of the night. This is the money stop. Oh, man, Osborne trying to get down there to be able to get around Keith Batson, who's now going to go a lap down, and he almost got hooked off the nose of Mitchell Collins, who was to his inside. Collins now goes to the point. Mitchell Collins trying to become the third Michael Norman Motorsports driver to go to victory lane. But Laura Chung, that 77 is so strong, but she's coming to pit road, looks like, along with her teammate Ryan Brommer, Quentin Moore, lap car of Matthew Rodriguez, and James Qualls. Now Ford side by side for the top spot. Levi McIntyre at the inside of Mitchell Collins. Let's see with a 1v1 here which lane's preferred. Well, actually we're not going to get to find out because Mitchell Collins is going to get held up by Reggie Fogelman. Is that Destin Bolin up here? It is. The 12 of Destin Bolin. I don't think we've talked about him at all here this evening, outside of talking about the Young Motorsports lineup for next year. And he's now up here in the top 5. Granted, we've got pit stop cycle happening right now, but he's up here in the lead pack. He's in the conversation for the win, and now he, along with his teammate Dylan Young, going to come in. A lot of Fords coming in this time. Casey Hoyt, Keith Batson, Levi McIntyre, Mitchell Collins. A couple of lap machines there, and Joshua Osborne and playoff contender Dylan Poteet. Some drivers leaving pit road there. Bunch of Northeast Motorsports teammates, the 25, 88, 48. Kyle Matthews, Chris Dollerton, Carson Gum, who has that number 1 pit stall, being the pole sitter, coming out just ahead of them. Jose Mills stayed out, got himself a lap led. I believe Jose had already led a lap previously tonight. Yeah, he led one previous lap. This was his second lap led. Rob Evans also stayed out. An extra lap with him. Looks like Evans, is he making a dive for the lead, or is he going to make a dive for pit road? He's coming in. Jose Mills is staying out an extra lap. So Jose Mills is going to run extra long. I believe Anthony McCurry has already made his pit stop. I think pretty much everybody else around here has already come to pit road, so I think we're just waiting on Jose Mills, with Evans making the dive onto pit lane. There's Reese Banks coming off of pit road with Cole Deaver, Michael Norman, Kyler Sustria back there as well. Jesse Turner just up ahead of his teammate there. And there's Casey Hoyt, who's off the lead lap. Boy, this is going to be a very split up field right now. And this right here will more than likely be the lead pack once everything cycles around. Let's find the 38 of Jose Mills. There he is. He'll be probably making the dive onto pit road this time, coming down pit road all by himself. Was this the right call? Because he just ran about, well, he ran one lap with only Rob Evans as a drafting partner, and then he ran another lap with no drafting help at all. Nathan Norman coming off of pit lane. He ran long as well on the last cycle. And I believe Cole Deaver ran long on the last cycle as well. I don't know if he's made his pit stop yet or not. Looks like he has. Here's where the race lead battle might be, and I think Levi McIntyre might end up being the top driver. No, it might end up being Rob Evans, actually. But he's got a pack of cars behind him that are going to close up very quickly. Laura Chung, who's led the most laps tonight, is maybe in danger of leading this lead group. Although they are going to slow up behind Rob Evans, so that just saved her. And Ryan Brommer swings around. I think he's going to go to the race lead. If he's able to complete this lap, it'll be his first lap led of the night. There's Jose Mills coming off of pit road. He's going to try and merge back in with this lead pack. James Qualls, Destin Bolin, Daniel Voiles. That early pit strategy again paying dividends for the 26. As we go 3 wide for what now looks like would be the second position. Jose Mills is going to cycle out to the top spot, it looks like. Question is, can he hold it? James Qualls with a big run Gonna dive it to the inside. Mills will lead the lap, but Qualls there. Destin Bolin with a run, gonna make it 3 wide for the top position. Well, I mentioned coming into tonight that it was a 34-to-8 driver ratio of non-playoff driver to playoff driver. The odds were not in favor of a playoff driver winning this evening and locking themselves into the Final Four. Well, look at our lead pack up here. We've got 11 lead lap drivers in this pack, and all of them are not featuring the Duracell copper banners, spoilers, or splitters. We do have, I believe, 1 lap car in this pack as well, the 27 of Joshua Osborne. He could be a proverbial X factor. Being up in this lead pack has him the first car 1 lap down in 25th. Has him ahead of drivers like Dylan Pote, Joshua Osborne, Keith Batson, Casey Hoyt, Zach Rogers. If you're just joining us, we're coming around here to 5 laps to go. This next time by, Will Goss is your race leader. We've had 1 caution here tonight, but it didn't start there. It started at the very initial rolling off the grid here tonight. Ryan Butcher with an engine failure, finishing dead last. Jessica Schulten got caught up in a big wreck that occurred at the very front of the field in a battle for the race lead. Put her behind the wall along with Nick Gunther, Matt McIntyre, Zachary Fitzwater, Charles Sanford, and RJ Bishop. Prior to that, we had a stack-up coming to pit road on the first leg of green flag pit stops. That put both Matt Haas and Caleb Fogler out of the race. And at this point in time, we only have 2 of our playoff contenders on the lead lap. Jesse Turner and Reese Banks in 17th and 18th. Dylan Pote, Matthew Rodriguez, Casey Hoyt, and Zach Rogers, the last remaining playoff drivers out there, are all -1. And that all due to getting lapped under these green flag runs and having lost out on the lead pack. Mitchell Collins now to the top position with help from the lap machine of Joshua Osborne. Trying to look here to see about teammates that can work together in the closing stages. And I see Young Motorsports has the 11 and the 12 in this group. You also have the 87 and the 77 out of Auto Junction Racing. And then you've got the Joanna Atwood Motorsports Chevrolets of Moore and Qualls. Plus they have Joshua Osborne here as well to be able to help them out. So there are alliances that can be made here in the closing stages. Meanwhile, you've got Levi McIntyre, single car entry. Daniel Voiles, single car entry. Their friends are where they find them, basically. Pretty good mixture of Chevrolets, Fords, and Toyotas up here as well, with a shot of winning this thing. As that last time by, 3 laps to go. Mitchell Collins, the race leader. Will Goss trying to make a line to the inside of the lap car of Joshua Osborne. No drafting help, though. He's going to start falling back here. Qualls going to jump down, try and help him out. Ryan Brommer there as well. But now they're going to get stacked up 3 wide, so that slowed all their momentum. Now Mills makes a dive to the inside of Joshua Osborne, who for the moment seems pretty committed to the back bumper of the 33, but look who's behind him. Now you've got all 3 of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports Chevrolets lined up nose to tail, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in that outside line. So if Osborne makes a move here on Mitchell Collins, he may do so in trying to help either Moore or Qualls get to the front. Moore's not going to wait. He's going to jump down to the inside here of Joshua Osborne. They got to keep themselves organized on that inside line if they're going to make anything happen. They keep splitting it into 3 wide, and that does not help their cause. You see right there, Voiles steps out on Ryan Brommer with the run down the back straightaway. That's going to hurt that inside line. Mitchell Collins, I think for the time being, is just going to stay committed to that outside wall, the faster way around the racetrack, force them to pass him low and get organized in doing so. Oh no, we're catching Reggie Fogelman, and the white flag is in the air, and I think that they are going to catch him before this race is over. Now it's a matter of picking the right line. Qualls goes to the bottom on Joshua Osborne. Which line's going to be the preferred line here? Collins is going to hope he clears James Qualls to be able to have a lane to the inside of the 80 on the back straightaway. He's going to get held up. They're all going to slow up here. Qualls with a big run. Collins jumps down to block. Mitchell Collins going to clear for the top spot still. James Qualls and Ryan Brommer looking to get a big run here out of turn 4. Brommer goes to the inside of Qualls. That may be all she wrote. Out of turn 4 for the final time, Mitchell Collins dodges the bullet of Reggie Fogelman. And Mitchell Collins is going back to victory lane. He's going to win here tonight at Daytona. First win of the season for Mitchell Collins. Third victory for Michael Norman Motorsports on the season. And there you see Rodriguez and Casey Hoyt and Zach Rogers, Dylan Poteet all in this pack all together. All battling for positions on the same lap, all one lap down. Gonna be interesting to see how that all settles out in regards to their finishing position to where they are around that cut line, either above, below, maybe the cut line driver, heading next week at Rockingham, which means that we know that at least 3 drivers are going to have to point their way into the Final Four, as we've had back-to-back weeks that non-playoff drivers have gone to victory lane. Bishop last week at Boston, Mitchell Collins this week at Daytona. James Qualls is going to bring it home in second, Ryan Brommer in third. Mitchell Collins becomes another different winner on the season in what could potentially be his final season in Duracell Cup Series competition. There has been no announcement on whether Collins is returning to the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series in Season 8 or not. Standings are going to be official here. And none of our Elite 8 finished inside of the top 15 here tonight. The highest finishing playoff contender finished 18th. And that was Reese Banks. Standings are indeed official. Here's a look at it. Mitchell Collins with the win. James Qualls and Ryan Brommer going to complete the podium. Daniel Voiles, a great run in 4th. Levi McIntyre in 5th. Look at all the Fords we got up here. Destin Bolin as well in 6th. Laura Chung, who led the most laps here tonight, 23 in total, will bring it home in 7th. Quentin Moore, great run in 8th. Jose Mills and Rob Evans completed the top 10. Will Goss was the last lead lap car in the lead pack, and he brings it home in 11th for the 11. Dylan Young led that second pack. He'll finish in 12th. Anthony McCurry, good run there for him in 13th. Pole sitter Carson Gum brings it home 14th, and Cody Lamas completed the top 15. 16th for Benjamin Miles. Kyler Sustre in 17th. As mentioned, Reese Banks, the highest finishing playoff driver, in 18th place. He was one of 2 drivers to finish on the lead lap. Jesse Turner, the other, in 21st. Austin the Planet Michael Norman completed the top 20 just ahead of him. Nathan Ormond was 22nd. Cole Deaver, 23rd. Kyle Matthews finished last car on the lead lap in 24th place. And then, of the lap cars, you end up having your playoff contenders finish very close to each other there, with Rodriguez 26th, Poteet 28th, Hoyt 29th, and Rogers in 30th. I don't know what that cut line's going to look like. Poteet and Rodriguez, they were very close to each other in the point standings. Casey Hoyt had 13 points up on them, but with Turner and Banks finishing where they did, Hoyt might drop down to 3rd or maybe even 4th in points. I don't know what his cut line advantage is going to be. And then 2 drivers that are more than likely going to be going into Rockingham next week in must-win situations, with DNFs here tonight and came into this race below the cut line already. Jessica Shelton in 35th, and you don't even see him on the finishing results, but Ryan Butcher didn't even get to take the green flag. That's why he wasn't scored. He'll get credited for 42nd after an engine failure rolling off the grid before even taking the green flag here tonight. See the rest of the drivers that didn't reach the conclusion. Gunther, McIntyre, Fitzwater, Sanford, Bishop, tough break for him, off the momentum of his victory last week. Matt Haas, Caleb Fogler with a pit road entry stack up, all out of this event. Well, we knew that regardless of what the Super Speedway was going to be, whether it be Armory Digital, whether it be Talladega, or whether it be the second trip back here to Daytona, it was going to be a wild card factor, not only in who was going to win, but also in what the playoffs were going to look like heading into next week. I don't think we could have been more right. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all shakes out. You got to think Jesse Turner and Reese Banks, they're going to be in decent shape, but I don't think they're going to be saved by any stretch of the imagination. If they finished up inside the top 5, then yeah, I'd have said that both those drivers had a very good chance of advancing into the Final Four, but I don't think they've got that big of a cushion, both finishing outside of the top 15. We'll have to wait and see, though, once all the points are calculated. But congratulations to Mitchell Collins on his first victory of the season as he takes the checkered flag here at the Daytona International Speedway. Next week, it's Rockingham. It's just the Cup drivers. We won't see the Lights drivers until the doubleheader finale at Michigan in a couple of weeks' time. So next week, we head to one of the roughest, oldest surfaces on the schedule. Rockingham has always played its part into who the Final Four are going to be, and it's ready to do so again. We don't know who's locked in. None of our playoff contenders have won these first 2 races of the round of 8, so we have to just wait and see what happens in next week's race from Rockingham. Hope you guys will join us for that. If you enjoyed tonight's race here from Daytona, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We've shown you full feature results, and you're now looking at those playoff standings. Take a look at the drivers' correlation between themselves and that cut line in 4th place. That's the storyline heading into Rockingham next week. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.